Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 update 1.35. Now as usual, when we get a brand new update, we get a bunch of new engine swaps come along with the game, and whilst it did kind of say at this time in the patch notes, kind of the cars that it goes in, it didn't specify what engines they're actually going to be. So I'm going to go through that today. We do have a brand new swap itself, so a new engine that can go into a car, and we do obviously have most of it really revolving around the Nissan brand. So let's get into the first of the swaps, and we'll start off with the latest engine swap to come to the game. So the latest addition to the game in terms of brand new engines that can be swapped, I guess, is the RB26 from the R34 GTR Skyline. Quite a legendary motor this one, and it is finally swappable within Gran Turismo 7. So let's go ahead and have a look which car it will go in. So currently the one and only engine swap that the RB26 can do is going into the 350Z or the Fairlady Z33 as we kind of know it in game, but I believe everywhere else in the world other than Japan it's actually called the 350Z or 350Z, whatever you're going to call it. Now I would say this is a fairly balanced engine swap. It's nothing kind of too extreme for the 350. Again, once you start putting the upgrades on, you're probably going to get into the 800-900 brake horsepower range with some fairly high top speeds, but as the standard swap it's nothing kind of too in your face or too out there. So overall this seems like a fairly good engine swap to do. Now next we have a bunch of engine swaps for the VR38, which is the GTR Nismo engine. Again, I believe this has 3 new swaps, and it has the only car that isn't a Nissan in terms of the engine swaps for this update. So yeah, bit of a surprising one that this one actually goes in, as well as 2 other ones that kind of, I guess, make sense in a way. So probably the most surprising of the swaps for the GTR Nismo engine is the Alpine A110, the reimagined classic, I guess, so the modern day version. I believe the 2017 model we currently have in the game does get the GTR Nismo swap. Now I could actually see this being fairly decent. It is a very fun car to drive. I just wouldn't really expect it to be able to handle that much brake horsepower that comes along with the Nismo GTR engine. Now we do have 2 others. So we have the Z Performance 23, which gets a swap, which is the GTR Nismo swap. Overall I could see this one being a fairly okay swap. To be quite honest, it's a pretty powerful car in terms of handling all of that power. I have mine fully upgraded. I believe it has something like 8 gears, so there's plenty of gears to go through. I wouldn't see this one being too extreme for the Z Performance 23 to handle. So the third of the cars that gets the Nismo GTR treatment in terms of its engine swap is the R32 Nismo from update 1.34. Now this I would actually see as being a fairly decent engine swap, just because the swap with the insane aero of this thing would certainly make for some awesome looking on-track action. So yeah, fairly decent swap. So the GTR Nismo now goes in 3 new cars: the Alpine A110, the Z Performance 23, and finally the R32 Nismo GTR. And then finally we're going to move on to the final swap of this update, which is VRH35Z R92CP. Obviously the Le Mans prototype car does have a new engine swap. If you know previously from other updates, it goes in the R33 GTR, the R34 GTR, and well, you can probably guess this one. Yeah, it finally goes in the R32 GTR V Spec, so not the Nismo model, just the standard GTR that's been in the game since launch. That now gets the Le Mans prototype treatment alongside the R33 and the R34. Again, if it's anything like the other 2 swaps, this is going to be a fantastic swap. Bit more on the pricey side, but 100% worth your money, especially if you plan to use these cars long term. And I certainly feel like the R32 swap will be something I will use, just because I have a massive soft spot for the R32 itself. So there we have it. Those are all of the engine swaps that came alongside update 1.35 for Gran Turismo 7. Very kind of, you know, Nissan related. Obviously all of the motors that are being swapped are Nismo and Nissan related engines. Obviously most of the cars are of the Nissan brand, apart from one, which is the Alpine A110, which was a bit of a kind of, you know, surprising engine swap to see, but certainly one I'm going to be trying out. They all seem like fairly good swaps. There's nothing kind of too extreme to the point where the car's just going to be an absolute mess. If the R32, you know, getting the prototype engine is anything to go off with the R33 and the R34, that will be very, very solid as well. So there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. I upload GT7 content each and every day for your viewing pleasure. Don't forget to go and follow me on Patreon. That'd be absolutely awesome, and I will see you later on. Have a great day, guys. Peace.